All right, so today we are going to talk about that annoying pain that you get between your shoulder blade and your spine. Do you ever get that, Nadine?
No, but I have other issues.
Yeah, that's true. You do.
Yeah.
You do. But these videos are supposed to be short, so we'll just stick with the one that we're going to talk about.
Got it.
Okay. So sometimes that pain, which that's in the area of the rhomboids, right? That tends to be the muscle that people know that's between the shoulder blade and the spine. Kind of goes like this in a diagonal. Sometimes that pain is due to some cervical stuff. That's kind of another video. But this one, we want to talk about how a lot of times it's just thoracic mobility that's causing some stiffness in that area. And this is very common in people who lift weights, where a lot of times you're locking in that area to be able to do stuff with your arms. You don't realize how stiff your thoracic spine is getting. And so we want to show you today a couple of mobility type drills that we do to work on moving the thoracic spine so that hopefully you won't have pain there. So the first thing I want you to do, Nadine, is kind of get down into a position like this, okay, and try to get it's almost like your elbows will touch your knees. So you're gonna put your butt back so it touches the heels. And so the reason we have her in this much flexion at the hips is because that helps to lock out the lumbar spine. And if we're trying to target this, we don't want this down here, hips and everything rotating. So the first thing we want to do is work on rotation of the thoracic spine. There's a couple different ways we do this. And so from this position, what I want you to do is put your hand across your chest, basically like that, all right? The other arm's going to go in between your knees. And then, and then I want you to turn and look up towards the ceiling, turn with your head and rotate up like this. Good. And the idea is to try to get this, right, would be to get this straighter, or as straight as possible. So you would obviously go ahead and do it again. Good. Yep. So it's always important to always tell patients to look with their eyes, turn their neck and do it. That actually helps to facilitate some of that rotation. So this is probably the most comfortable way to do it, is having your arm across your chest like this. Another way you can do it is actually put your hand behind your neck. Some people like that, and then it's almost like you're helping to push with the elbow, squeezing your shoulder blade to get up like that. But the key is to make sure that you stay in the middle. That's why we have the arm in the middle. You'll know you're cheating.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
super bad.
That way's worse. Oh, goodness.
That didn't go much at all.
Yeah. But yeah, what you don't want to do is like, go ahead if you came up, Nadine, and then you shift your weight to the side to cheat a little bit. Try to make sure you stay directly in the middle to do this, okay? So that's the first one in a rotation type way to get this going. The next one I want you to do, Nadine, is stay on your elbows actually, but bring yourself out to there. And then we want to get the shoulder blade moving together and then apart, right? So this is sort of like doing a scapular push-up, but on your elbow. So go ahead and go down, Nadine, good, and you really want those shoulder blades to come together as far as you can, and then press straight up, good, and they'll come apart, and then go back together like this, okay? Yeah, not a ton of mobility there either, but better. So really let them come together. Let it come together further.
That's all I got.
That's it. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's sometimes if you have trouble getting your shoulder blades, that can actually be a little bit of tightness in the pecs a little bit. That's better.
That's welcome to my world.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you're really allowing the shoulder blade to kind of do this sort of motion like that, okay? Try it with your butt back towards your heels and see if that makes it any different. Yeah.
Like here?
Yep. And then go up and then down. Yeah, that probably limits it even a little bit more. And then go up onto your hands and try it. Yep. And sometimes people have a little bit easier time doing this. Yeah, that's a little bit better for you. So on her hand, she's able to get a little bit more. She's probably just able to get her chest to go down a little bit further than when she was tucked into that tuck position. So you can do it either way, but that really gets the shoulder blades basically protracting and then retracting as it moves around the rib cage. All right, so then from that position, and this one I would do, Nadine, in a little bit more of a tuck. You're gonna kind of do the thread the needle position. So you can stay on your hands, but bring your butt back just a little bit. and then really reach through with the underside hand. And again, this is rotating under. So with your right hand, reach through.
I like to go open first.
You like to go open first? Okay.
I like to just open.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you
reach.
thread it.
Okay. There you go. That works. Why do you like to open first?
That's just what you do in yoga.
Okay.
Watch out. Don't let me hit you in the face.
Okay.
And then you get a nice opening.
Yep. And then a closing.
And then a closing, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So again, the same principle applies as the other one, is trying to make sure you stay within a straight line as much as possible when you're doing this.
Terrible on the left.
Yeah. And then you can, again, depending on where your hips are, if your butt's closer to your heels, that locks out more of the lumbar spine, and you'll get more of the thoracic spine by being more into a little bit of a squat. But if you're really restricted, then you might need to be really far forward in order to get as much back motion as you possibly can to do it. So depending on your restriction can be kind of how much of a, as far back as your hips towards your feet that you want to go. All right, the last one we like to do is some thoracic extension. So flip around this way, Nadine, put your elbows on this box, and then we're going to actually have you hold this pole, but hold it underhand like this, okay, at the ends. And this really forces your, as your elbows bend, it doesn't allow your hands to come together. So you want to push your butt back towards your heels, and then bring the hands overhead, and then letting this part of the spine sink down in. Can you bring that bar all the way to your back? There you go, good. Now, I like to have people use a little bit of breath work with this, and then inhale, and then exhale, and then really allow this to go down. Okay? Do you feel that?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
okay,
also a major shoulder stretch too.
It is.
So sometimes I feel it more in my shoulder, but I definitely feel the mid-back sink.
Yeah. And based on how much you're tilting your pelvis is where you will feel it a little bit. You can kind of change where you feel it up and down here. As Nadine mentioned, this stretches the shoulders quite a bit too, into all the way up into flexion. So if you have a little bit of restriction, you might not be able to do this one. So just be careful if you got a bursitis or you're having some rotator cuff issues at the top. It'll definitely pinch there a little bit. So yeah, those are 4 stretches. You know, I would, do 5 or 6 reps of each at least. You could do more. And if you're really having some problem in that area in the rhomboids, between the shoulder blade and the spine, work on these 4 consistently. Do them every day and see if that doesn't help clear that up. And hopefully it will. Please let us know if you have any questions in the comments below. Thanks.